guys, my name is Ashley and I'm a mom of 2 little girls. I have a 2.5-year-old toddler named Kylie, and I also have a 6-month-old baby named Mia. So this is our 4th installment in the baby-led weaning series, and today we're gonna be talking all about how to introduce cutlery to your baby. Now you can use any kind of cutlery that you want with your baby, and there are a lot of options out there available for you to purchase. The set that my girls use is just a little toddler hammered flatware set that I purchased from a Montessori supply company. I will leave a link down below in case you're interested in checking them out. But honestly, it doesn't really matter what cutlery you purchase, so long as my #1 tip is to make sure that the tips of them are actually made of metal. Plastic silverware just tends to be a lot more slippery, and when babies, especially when they're learning how to use forks, are trying to like stab pieces of food, the food tends to fall off and it becomes very frustrating for them. So if you supply them with the real deal, just in their size, then they're going to have a lot more success with it. So as far as when to introduce cutlery, you're going to be able to introduce a spoon from as soon as you start solid foods, around 6 months old. And for the fork, you're probably going to need to wait on the fork until roughly 9-10 months old. Once they've kind of started developing their pincer grasp, that's usually a good time to start giving them the fork. You can certainly introduce it before that and see how they do. But from my experience, I feel like my toddler, when she was going through this process, didn't really have a good command of how to use the fork and what to do with it until around that time. Every baby does develop at their own unique pace, so it is entirely up to you and just kind of using your judgment as a parent. So Mia is just about 7 months old in a couple of days from now, and she has not used a spoon yet. So what you guys are about to see is her very first experience with a spoon, and I purposely waited because I wanted you guys to kind of see what you might be able to expect to happen with your baby the very first time that you introduce using a spoon with him or her. It doesn't always go smoothly. Honestly, I have no idea what is about to happen, but for the most part, what I'm hoping to see is the fact that I will preload the spoon with food for her, because the scooping motion comes a little bit later after some practice. But if I preload it, she should be able to learn to take the spoon from me and start bringing it to her own mouth and almost start self-feeding that way. As far as what foods you're going to be introducing to your baby with a spoon for the very first time, it's honestly up to you what you want to introduce. With my toddler, I actually gave her Greek yogurt for the very first time that she ever tried a spoon. But with Mia, I've decided to do just a tiny little bit. It's about 2 tablespoons worth of some apple cinnamon oatmeal, homemade whole grain rolled oats that I just made for her in the kitchen. The reason that I picked oatmeal this time around is just because Greek yogurt is thick and it does stay on the spoon pretty well, but I feel like oatmeal is just a little bit better at that. So we're gonna start with oatmeal with Mia and kind of work our way up from there over the course of the next couple of weeks. So for the first spoonful of oatmeal, you'll notice I'm not loading it up a lot. Just a little bit on the tip of the spoon is plenty, and as you can see, this oatmeal is very thick, so it's not going anywhere even when I turn the spoon on its side. And that's ideal because it's a little bit easier for the baby to successfully get food into their mouth if it's able to stick to the spoon like that. I'm also not anticipating a lot of food actually going down and being swallowed. She might spit a whole lot of it right back up, but that's normal in the very beginning stages. Okay, first bite. Ready? Okay, ready? This has something on it. Look, she's already grabbing it. She sees there's something on there and she's tasting it. Notice I'm not holding the spoon anymore. We're just kind of letting her taste what's on the spoon, see what she can get off by herself. A lot of it might end up falling on the tray or getting all over her, which is why she has a sleeved bib on right now, but that's totally okay. What she's eventually going to have to learn, and it happens pretty quickly, is this give and take process. Once her spoon is kind of empty, I'm going to take it back from her, reload it with more oatmeal, and give it right back. Sometimes they get a little bit frustrated because they feel like you're taking the spoon away, but once they learn that the spoon is coming back with more food, then they are patient. Do you like that? So it looks like her spoon is starting to get empty. Most of it fell off onto her bib, so I'm gonna take it away. See, she's getting mad at me. But I'm gonna quickly reload it. Here you go, here you go, here you go. And I'm gonna give it right back. Eventually, again, that won't happen anymore. Sometimes they stick the spoon a little bit too far back and they gag a little. Again, that's also normal. But once they learn how to use the spoon and how far they need to put it in their mouth, all of that stops. Yummy, is that good? Honestly, best to just expect a huge mess when you first start doing this because that's what happens. I'm actually kind of surprised that Mia has not flung the spoon yet. The first time that I gave Greek yogurt to Kylie, and again, that was her first experience with a spoon, she just got so excited by the whole experience that she kept flinging the spoon off of the high chair tray. Are you ready for more? Let's do more. Here we go. Ready? Okay, here you go. Here you go. Okay. So when you start introducing a fork to your baby, again, a little bit later, once they've kind of started developing that pincer grasp, I would suggest starting with foods that are very easy to stab. So you're gonna be able to cut things into bite-sized pieces at that point because they're developmentally ready for that at that time. And what you can try are like little pieces of toast or things that whenever you stab it, it tends to stay on the fork. You want to avoid giving them little pieces of avocado or mango or other fruits that tend to be very slippery, because if they successfully stab that little piece of food and then it falls right off, you're not really setting them up for success. Once they have a better mastery of how to use the fork, then it's okay to start giving them some of those more slippery foods and allowing them to experience just a little bit of that frustration during the learning process so that they can learn that, hey, foods do slip off sometimes and I have to make sure that I maneuver the fork in just the right way. So in this clip here, you can see my toddler Kylie, she was learning how to use her fork with more slippery foods like watermelon, and you can see that she has just a little bit of trouble getting the piece of watermelon on the fork at first, but then she successfully figures it out and she's able to get it to her mouth all by herself. So the process of introducing cutlery to your baby starts from the beginning, and you're kind of just waiting until they hit around the 12-month mark. If they've had sufficient practice, by that point, they should be able to independently scoop with a spoon and use a fork successfully all by themselves. It may not be the cleanest use of a spoon or a fork. There's still going to be mess along the way, but they will at least be able to do it by themselves. Now they do get better over time, and as you can see in this clip here, my toddler Kylie used very slow and very specific movements in order to scoop her applesauce by herself, but she was able to do it on her own. Again, it didn't happen overnight. She had a lot of practice. So again, I will put links to a couple of different cutlery sets down below that you might want to check out as possibilities for introducing to your baby for their first experience with cutlery. And if you guys have any questions about something that you saw in this video today, then please be sure to leave me a comment down below and I'd love to chat with you guys about it. In next week's video, I'm gonna be talking all about mealtime behavior expectations, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.